Good evening, everybody. This is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. I've been working so hard in my gardens this last week, and it just hit me that I haven't filmed hardly anything. And I didn't mean to do that. I just literally I'm in this mode again, and kind of when I get in that mode, I forget to film. So I have been getting up and being out in my gardens by 6:30 every morning. We've been picking a lot of beans. My sister has come and helped me a few times. My brother-in-law came the other day. My niece is coming Saturday. I've got so many beans coming in. And so that's helping me a whole lot with that. But also, I noticed a little leaf blight showing up on my tomatoes. So I've been trying to kind of get around and prune tomatoes. And when you have scissors and stools and all that kind of thing, it's hard to film. So I really have dropped the ball on it. But I thought I'd bring you out here this evening while it's cool. It has been so hot here in South Louisiana. We work early in the mornings. I do get out there a little bit in mid-morning, even though it's burning hot, because I just have so much to do. But then I take a break from that 2 to 6 o'clock hour because it's so hot, and I come back out here. So I'm out here tonight, and I've decided to dig my potatoes. I'm in Richard's garden. That's my husband's garden. It's across the beach from my house. And I'm digging up my Kennebec White potatoes. I don't have a clue how those Yukon Golds are gonna do, because I actually found some spots where I had no potatoes. But the Kennebec Whites are doing okay. I'm happy, and I found a few more Lasoda Reds. I had come out and dug a few the other day, just a few, 7 or 8 little potatoes, and I actually took them in the house and cooked them for supper. So this is the rest of them. Very few of my plants put off blooms, very few of them. I did have like just a few down here, but I started noticing again hornworm damage. You'll see it there on these plants. And rather than just sit here and look for hornworms every time, I decided I'm just going to go ahead and dig the potatoes up, because even though they didn't bloom, they don't have to bloom. It's just that's a good indication. Sometimes they'll bloom and then you wait a couple of weeks and they're ready to harvest. Mine didn't all bloom, and I don't think they are going to bloom. And I also noticed a lot of them started getting the yellowing leaves on the bottom. See that one right there? I mean, these plants were starting to die. So even though some of them still look pretty green amongst the weeds, I should have got in here and weeded, but I didn't. But even though some of them look pretty green, I think they're ready. I just feel like they're ready. Some of them are falling over. If you get down farther, especially down in that area, right there, they're starting in that area to look really bad. So I don't want bugs to take over. I have pulled up a few potatoes that have brown spots all over them. And, you know, I think that's just what's gonna start happening over and over if I don't get these out of the ground. So that's what I'm gonna do this evening. Luckily, because I used that black organic soil, I'm not having to really dig with a shovel or a pitchfork or anything like that. I've been able to just pull my plants straight out of the ground, just like that. I don't know if you can see this little potato. There's one good one on there for sure. There we go. So that's what I'm looking for. And to me, this is a good harvest, because it's only my second time to grow potatoes. I do scrabble around in the ground a little bit just to make sure I haven't left anything. But so far, the soil is so loose that it's coming up with the plant, so that's a good thing. Let's see what we have on this one. There we go. Got some potatoes there. A little one, a little bit bigger one. Pretty big one. And I'll scrabble around to make sure I don't have any more. So far, they've just been coming up clean. I haven't found anything else in the ground. That's a good one. That's a good one. Found another in the ground, but it's all chewed up. That potato's down in the soil. I'm gonna have to get my shovel for that one. Got one good one. Oh. There's a real good one. Yeah, every now and then I just have to have the shovel because some of this dirt is still pretty clay-like. Clay soil. Woo. I'll go ahead and show you before it gets dark. You see the sun going down over there. My corn over here, my Mosby Prolific, is finally just decided to make a show. So it's coming on up. I hope it does good. I think I noticed one or two tasseling, but some of them are lagging behind. So it's doing good. All of these tender green beans, I'm picking them right now. I picked about a half of a 5-gallon bucket full today and ended up having to take a Tylenol because my hands were killing me by the time I picked beans all morning and then sat there with my scissors cutting them and stuff. Anyway, the injuries of gardening. Now, look at this mess. These are my Atkinson tomatoes, which are doing great. They're doing wonderful, but they kind of look like the Shaggy DA right now because I've forgotten to get over here and do any weeding over here and do any pruning. Over here in Richard's garden, things kind of get overlooked sometimes, and that's my fault. And my Cubanelle peppers are going bonkers, but I really don't have customers coming yet because I don't have tomatoes or anything ready, so I don't know. I'm gonna pick all these probably tomorrow and just freeze them. I was thinking I could make those little poppers, maybe with some cream cheese and some Jimmy Dean sausage, and go ahead and stuff them all and then freeze them. Even if we just use them, that's fine with me. But I'm gonna come out here tomorrow and take care of all these tomatoes. You see just about every bush is full. I'm so excited. These right here are just, I mean, look at that. That looks like apples. Look how beautiful those are. Got one up there too. They're just starting to turn yellowish, which tells me they're on their way to blushing. So I wanted to show you one more thing before I got off, and then of course I'm going to show you my potatoes. But these, if you watch my tour video, I showed you a little mound and I told you I had some Thelma Sanders winter squash growing. Well, look at these little mounds now. They're going all the way from my bean row, across my tomato row, and over towards the other row where I have other big, huge Thelma Sanders plants. These things are going crazy. And they're setting little fruit. Some of them are small like that. But then this bush over here, this bush has got a big one in there. And I think, let's see. Yeah, it's got others. It's got another big one right there. So I have, oh, that one has a big one too. Look at there, how beautiful. Those get, you know, somewhat bigger than that, 2 and 3 times bigger than that. And then they turn like a peachy colored orange. And they're supposed to taste kind of like sweet potatoes. So if you see, all of them are doing that. And I've just pretty much ignored these things. I don't know if you want to try to grow these, if you want to just see what it's like. I'm pretty sure I got these from Seed Savers Exchange, but I do know I've seen them on some other websites as well. And I'm just going to tell you from my experience, they don't mind dry soil, they don't mind clay soil, they don't mind not getting rained on. We have had some rain lately, and that's kind of why they exploded. But even before that, they were hanging in there. They were green and standing upright and doing good. So if I were you, I would try it. I'll give an update on some of my other plants later. This was just a quick video, and I'll show you in a minute how my potatoes came out. These are my Yukon Golds. I was very pleased with these. Some are tiny, but a lot of them had a little bit of size to them. I think they had a little bit more size than the Kennebec Whites. So I would definitely grow these again. These are the Kennebec Whites. I ended up with more pounds of these. But some of them were on the smaller size, and but they'll make good canning potatoes. I'm glad I grew them, and I'd grow them again. Here's just the last few of the Lasoda Reds. I had picked a few of them out of the ground the other day and used them to cook with. But I only had a few of them, but I would definitely grow these. These are just a staple in Louisiana. We use them in crawfish boils. Okay, everybody, I finished the potatoes. I stayed out there after dark with my husband in the side-by-side with the headlights on, shining on me so I could finish those last Yukon Gold potatoes. I just really wanted to get it all done tonight because I don't have time really tomorrow to fool with it. So I thought I would bring them back to the house, weigh each one of them, and let you know the results from my potato race video. I don't know if you caught that one, but if you didn't, go back and look in my list. And I have a video called The Great Potato Race of 2022. And it's just something I was having fun with. But these are the results. It's not extremely impressive. I had 106 feet of potatoes. The first one was the Lasoda Red potatoes. Now I only had 6 feet of those. I got just a few of them in a little bag from a friend. So I planted them about a foot apart and I only ended up with 6 feet. But I ended up getting 2.58 pounds of potatoes from that 6 feet, which comes out to 0.43 pounds per foot. So that actually puts them in the lead of the other potatoes. Let me give you those results. The next one was the Kennebec Whites. I had 60 feet of the Kennebec Whites. I ended up with 18.10 pounds of the Kennebec Whites. That came out to 0.30 pounds per foot. The last one, I had 40 feet of the Yukon Gold, and I didn't even know if I had any potatoes because I had pulled a couple of plants the other day and didn't find anything. But I ended up with 11.4 pounds of Yukon Gold potatoes. And I have to say, if they had a beauty contest, the Yukon Golds would have won. Some of those potatoes were so much bigger than the Kennebec Whites. They were big and beautiful, and they would have won a beauty contest. So, but the 11.4 pounds, I only averaged out to 0.285 pounds per foot. So they came in just a tad, just a smidgen behind the Kennebec Whites. Really, to me, it's a dead heat. They're pretty much, I was pulling up about the same amount of potatoes per each one. Let's see, all together, 29, 30, 31, almost exactly 32 pounds of potato. I think it's 0.08 over that. So 32 pounds of potatoes for 106 feet. Now, it depends on how you look at that. This is only the second time I've grown potatoes. And last year, I wasn't really even into them. My husband planted them. He had his stroke. We ended up with just chaos going on, and I just went out there at some point and harvested them. And we got some potatoes, and I canned them, and I enjoyed the canning of them and having them on my shelf all year and using them in stews. So I definitely wanted to grow them this year, but I really didn't know much about growing them. And I literally just planted them. I fertilized them once or maybe twice. I think I fertilized them when I planted them. Then I went back later and I did a little trench down it and fertilized them again. And I usually water them in when I do that real well. However, I can honestly tell you, there were points I forgot they were out there, and I didn't water them even in this heat that we have and these dry spells we were in. And so I didn't water them, but they did okay. Now I see on some videos where some people in really loose soil grow potatoes, and they'll pull that plant up and maybe have 12 potatoes hanging on to it. That wasn't my thing tonight. If I had 2 decent sized ones and a couple of little tiny ones, I was doing good. A lot of plants, I would have, 1 big one and 2 or 3 tiny ones. But some of the plants, though, I had 2 good sized ones and little tiny ones. And to me, that's a success. 32 pounds of potatoes, to me, is a successful grow. It was low maintenance. I barely had to do anything to them. They were pretty plants to see and to watch grow. Potato plants are beautiful. And, harvesting them wasn't that hard because I did have some of that organic soil mixed in there. A couple little spots, it's like the soil wasn't there and I had mostly clay and I had to dig them out. But for the most part, the plants kind of pulled out of the ground, and so it wasn't bad at all. So this is Lainey from Camp Joy Farms. I will let you go. I will see you later this week and try to do some little updates on what I'm doing, show you what I'm doing outside, because that's probably what people want to see this time of year. And I'm sorry I haven't been filming near as much as I should have, but I'll try to get back on it tomorrow and there's a lot of work going on. People are fixing to start coming to buy things, and I always get nervous and a little bit anxious about stuff like that. So I'm trying to really weed and shape up everything, but it's hard. But it'll get done. It'll get done, and we just have faith and have fun. I'm trying to enjoy it too as I go. So thank you very much. Y'all have a great evening. Bye-bye.